Hello everyone and welcome to a very interesting game from 1978. It was played in Seattle and it's a game between Michael Darby and Yasser Seirawan. You all know Yasser, he's a very well-known personality in the chess world. This game comes as a suggestion from Sanchi Chamblok, and it's a really fun game. You guys will enjoy it a lot, and I thought maybe since we're in between two big tournaments, we could show a nice fun game, as tomorrow is the start of the Everything's Masters. We're going to be covering that. So I thought this would be a nice way to unwind a little bit. And yes, as you've seen in the thumbnail, it does feature the move that was in the thumbnail. So let's see what it is. And it's a very interesting situation in the chess world. Bobby Fischer disappeared. No one knows where he is. Anatoly Karpov became world champion without playing a match for the World Chess Championship match. You know, it's a fun time to be in chess. So here we have no photo of Michael Darby, so I'm using a hoodie to honor the hoodie guy. Hope you guys are doing the same. Let's check it out. So Darby with the white pieces opens with d4. We have d6 by Yasser, e4 transposing into the Pirc defense, and now g6 going for a sort of a modern approach here. We have c4 and e5 now, striking in the center, saying that I am very happy if you want to trade queens. This is perfectly fine for black. So bishop to e3, of course, white not interested in this. Bishop to g7 by Yasser, and now knight to c3. We have knight to c6 and knight to g to e2. And here black plays knight to h6. Yasser doesn't want to go knight to f6 because this was a well-known line in those days, and he as it would seem, I guess he played it quite a lot. He even mentions it in his book, saying that you kind of have to play d5 here. But it's also perfectly fine. For example, d5, knight e7, and then both of the knights will be helping out with the control of the f5 square. You're going to castle push f5 and strike very strongly against white center. But here we have f3, just solidifying in the center, and now Yasser waits no longer. He executes f5 right away, and now queen d2. Going after the knight on h6. The thing is, if you go d5 now, then we get knight to e7, queen to d2, attacking the knight, and after knight to f7, both players can castle. For example, castles, king to b1, a nice prophylactic move, and the game continues. So this is what white should play, and again, it's something that Yasser mentions, that the d5 definitely is the move here. But after queen to d2, the game becomes a lot more interesting. So we're threatening to win a piece here, but it also gives Yasser a chance to start some very interesting tactics here. And he starts with f captures on e4. He says, you are welcome to capture my knight on h6, but it's not really a free piece. I'm just going to play queen h4 check and win back the piece. So if we go for this, just queen h4 check, we're going to play g3, queen captures here, and the black is just up material. Even if we play something like knight captures on e4, we're going to play queen captures on d2 with check, king captures, e captures on d4, and we're up a pawn. It's a beautiful pass to d pawn, and we still have the bishop pair, so black's position is much better here. This would be winning for black. So okay, after f captures on e4, we have d5 now, challenging the knight. Finally, white pushes this pawn to d5, and now what do you play? Well, knight to d4 is what you should play, but it's not what Yasser played. Yasser played e captures on f3, and now the game really becomes interesting. Best for white is to just capture the knight. For example, captures on c6, and now what do you play here as black? You can't really... well, you could play f captures on e2, but it's not going to be all that great, because now we're going to play bishop to g5, and how are you saving the black queen? The pawn and bishop are covering all the squares. There's not much you can do. If you play captures on f1, bring a queen into the game with check, rook captures, and again you have this problem that's you will not be able to solve this. So instead, after d captures on c6, you will have to play f2 with check, and then it's a completely crazy game, but white should always be better. Bishop captures, knight to g4. Now the game continues with black sort of having the attack, but not really. So this is what happens after e captures an f3. That's why knight to d4 was a bit more sound. But okay, knight to g3 by Yasser, and now by Darby, and now knight to d4 by Yasser. Asking white, are you going to capture on h6? Because then I have knight to c2 check. But this position is incredibly difficult for black to play, and I'm sure Yasser knew this even after playing knight to d4, because this will just be better for white. For example, captures, captures, and captures, knight to c2 check. After king to d2, it's not all that great. We're gonna capture the rook, but now not even developing the bishop to go quickly after the knight. We're just gonna play g captures on f3, and now we're gonna develop the bishop and capture the knight. There's no way for black to save this knight. For example, if rook to f8, we're gonna play bishop to e2, even defend our pawn here, and next move we're gonna capture, let's say, queen f6, rook captures on a1, and now white is just much better here. So instead, after knight d4, instead of going for this, bishop to g5 was played, and it looks very tricky, but it allows Yasser to play the move that after so many years got the game to be uploaded on this channel, and that move is queen captures on g5. That's the move from the thumbnail. So the queen, the bishop is attacking the queen, and we just capture that bishop. So we can look at this one more time in slow motion. You can see that there's really nothing defending the black queen, so it's a straight out queen sacrifice, or rather a queen trade for a bishop, but that's kind of the definition of a queen sacrifice. And Darby was probably a bit confused here, but okay, queen captures on g5, and now knight to g4, and the position is not all that clear. Because black has so much stuff here in front of the white king. This knight covering these squares, this knight covering these squares, the pawn covering these squares. So that's a lot happening here. The bishop can come to h6. It will attack the queen. So what can you do here? Obviously, if you play g captures on f3, we just capture the pawn with check and pick up the white queen. So that's out of the question. So after knight g4, we have knight g to e4 by white. Well, just improving the position. But now we have knight to c2 with check. And here, indeed, you could go bishop to h6. But if Yasser played this, then white probably thought, okay, I'm just going to give back the queen. And that's it, with a move like knight to f6 check, hence the knight e4 idea. And after, let's say, king f8, just queen g4. We're going to play knight to c2 with check, king f2. Now bishop captures on g4, knight captures on g4. And after a nice capture fast here, knight captures on a1, g captures on f3, it would all come down to this position, where black would have to decide what to do here. But there is a move for black, and that is bishop to c1. So it's all very hard to spot, but this is how you save both the knight and the bishop, but not forever, because after, let's say, bishop d3, bishop captures here. Yes, you defend the knight, but now knight to e2, we're going to prevent the bishop from capturing. Next move, we're going to play rook b1, attack the bishop. The bishop is out of useful squares, and then we're going to win the knight. And well, it's sort of an equalish game. But okay, after knight g4, we have knight to c2 check by Yasser right away. And now white has to play king to d2. With king to d2, white is still just better, but white played king to d1. It seems like it's the same idea. Maybe he just didn't want to put the king on a dark square, because after king to d2, what happens if just bishop to h6? Well, again, it's not a problem. We're just going to capture, and after knight captures, king captures on c2. So although it's a bit odd playing the king here on a dark square visually, as this could be, a problem, it's actually the best move. But okay, king d1 was played, but now Yasser doesn't go after the rook. He plays knight c to e3 with check. And again, white is not dead here. He still has to play king to d2. But here, probably white thought, okay, Yasser sacrificed the queen for nothing. He just wants to get a perpetual here. He played king to e1. And now probably he was expecting knight to c2 check, king d1, knight e3 check, and a nice perpetual here. But after king to e1, here comes bishop to h6 by Yasser. Capturing on g2 first before bishop h6 is better, because it prevents white from just giving back the queen. But Yasser decided that this is perfectly fine as well. And now you have to play G captures on f3 and just give up the queen. But white wanted to keep everything. He played queen to h4, and now Yasser just destroys everything. F captures on g2, now threatening to pick up the rook with check or even the bishop here. Pretty much depends on what white plays. So rook to g1, now comes g captures on f1, bringing a queen into the game. Rook captures on f1, and here just knight to g2 check, and he was in this position on move 18. Yes, this is only move 18, even though we've shown a lot of sidelines, but that Michael Darby resigned the game as there is nothing more to be done here. So really a wonderful game that, it's a pre-engine era, so anything, you could play pretty much anything and still create a brilliant game like this, because, well, if your opponent didn't know that what you're doing is, bad by default, then you could get away with it. So here, after knight to g2 check, of course he resigned, because whatever he plays, we're just gonna pick up the queen on h4, and now we've won back our queen, and we're just up too much material. So of course it makes no sense for white to continue playing this. So yeah, only 18 moves, knight to g2 check, white resigns, and another brilliant victory by Yasser. We haven't shown many games by Yasser on this channel, but those that we have are simply brilliant. If you remember the one against Anatoly Karpov, where Karpov's second forgot to inform Karpov of a certain sacrifice, and then Yasser used it and totally crushed Karpov. If you haven't seen it, do check that out as well. I might even put it in the description below, so do check if it's in the description. So yeah, that's the game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. A nice light one for our preparation for the big tournament tomorrow. The Earthings Masters is starting. I would like to thank the emoji pillow on my couch, Odalt, Lucifer 45 non-commercial EP, Dale Cook, and Anwar, the 95% American flag Numa, for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing, or rather starting the coverage of the Earthings Masters, checking up on your wonderful suggestions such as this one, and whatever else happens in the chess world. So thank you all, I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.